right, let's talk. Let's talk about this topic. I'm excited about this topic and also a little bit, um, I don't know about nervous, but like I didn't know what to call this video. So I did a video 2 or 3 years ago that was about like it. You don't always have to have big goals. That was like the something. I'll link it. It was something like that, and I wanted to do like another iteration of that same type of video. And when I was brainstorming with my content coach, we kind of talked about the phrase like build a life that you love. And like, yes, but at the same time, to me, that phrase feels really overused to the point that you're like, I don't like it. I don't know that it's actually going to motivate you or inspire you to do anything. And so love might just feel too far away potentially. So that's why I called it build a life that you like, because I do believe that you deserve to be happy most of the time. Not all the time. We are not going to be happy all the time. Just go watch Inside Out. If you haven't watched Inside Out 2, it's on Disney Plus. It's great. Watch the Inside Out movies. We're not going to be happy all the time. We need those other emotions to be a human being. But I believe that we deserve to be happy most of the time. And I believe that goals are how you get there. I believe that by setting and accomplishing goals, that is how you create happiness. You always hear the cheesy saying, like, money doesn't buy happiness, but I've never seen somebody sad with like a private jet or insert thing here, right? And it's kind of a joke, but there are also realistic aspects to it that you're like, well, if I had more money to do XYZ, it would make me happy. And that's very possible. But since most of us are not going to just wake up and win the lottery tomorrow and let money fix or solve a bunch of our problems, goals are going to need to be the way that we create and build that happiness, that we create a life that we like. And here's the problem. We always think that goals need to be huge. Quit your job, buy a house, get married, have babies, lose 100 pounds, read 100 books, declutter top to bottom, finish every scrapbooking album. Like the list goes on and on of these like big, huge, giant goals. In the same vein, we also equate like our happiness to these big, giant moments, the weddings, the, house closings, the vacations. And like, yes, those things may make you happy. And like, they probably will in some capacity. But so might having a monthly book club with your friends, drinking one extra bottle of water, reading one chapter before bed, which, spoiler alert, will not add up to 100 books in a year. These little tiny things that are more on a regular basis, on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis, those things actually can and will make you happy. Those things actually do add up. We get so focused on the need for these big goals and these big changes, these big life events, these vacations and these marriages, these weddings, that we forget that the little things can have an impact too. In fact, most days, like on a day-to-day basis, they arguably have a bigger impact because that's what you're living on a regular basis. When we use the phrase build a life that you like, life, most of the time, this is getting like much more. And there's practical questions to think about at the end of this video. Okay? This is not just going to be me ranting about the topic. But life is a lot of that little stuff. It's a lot of that in between. It's a lot of those little pieces on your day-to-day, hour-to-hour basis, not the big giant things. So as we start to brainstorm for 2025, which by the way is not required. If you were like, Laken, please do not bring up 2025. It is only October. I would like to focus on this year. It's kind of like how I walked into Michael's this morning and I wanted to see what kind of Halloween stuff, decor and stuff they had for our Halloween party. And there was already like 3 or 4 rows of Christmas stuff out. Christmas. I'm like, no, I'm not there yet. Like, we're jumping the gun. Can we like focus on Halloween first? We're not even halfway through October. I've only watched one Halloween movie, which, by the way, thank you for all your input on your favorite Halloween movies to help me build my list. Anyways, not required to brainstorm for 2025. But if you're like me, ideas have already popped up into your head, and you don't have the capacity to add those things in October, November, December. Like, there's no way. Some of the things on my brainstorming list are like truly cannot happen until 2025. And then some of them are like, no, you just don't have the capacity to think about that now. That's how I started the list back in June, by the way. I thought of an idea of something I wanted to do in June, and I was like, you don't need to do that now. There's no capacity. Like, put it on the list. Put it in the book. Anybody else watch Mean Girls last week? Anyway, I would encourage you to maybe consider starting a list or just having a list available to you so that when ideas pop into your head, you have a place for them to live. I wish I could pop it up for you, but there's obviously if you have the goals with Laken Planner, the 2024 version, you have this, or the Q4 version. It's the very last page of your planner. If you're a community member, it's a free downloadable. I don't want to see them, but it just says 2025 brainstorm at the top. I have split mine in half, and I have personal on one half and work on the other half. I've already crossed something off. I already wrote something down and then crossed something off. Isn't that funny? I like thought of it, and then I was like, nope, I actually don't want to do that in 2025. But anyway, I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things for personal, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things for work. But I want you to, as you start to brainstorm or think of things for next year, I'm going to give you 3 questions to think about. When are you the happiest on a day-to-day basis? When do you have a smile on your face on a regular basis? What lights you up? And it could be something as simple as like when Lila wakes up in the morning and I go in there to see her, she has this huge grin on her face, and she is just so happy to be awake and to start her day, to see me. And it's just like the best thing. What that tells me is I would never want to pick something that within reason, right? I'm going out of town this weekend. That's different. But on a regular day-to-day basis where I am not there for when she wakes up in the morning, like I would never want that to not be my everyday. My most days, not every day, my most days, right? That makes me happy every day. Charlie has just decided that she wants to enter the chat, which means the door is open. So you're going to potentially hear those people that are in my house. But what is it about your everyday, your day-to-day that makes you smile? And how can you, this follow up to this, which this is the piece of it that you don't need to figure out now, right? I just want you to think of this surface level. When are you happy? I could have just written Lila in the morning, right? The act period. When we get to the actual like converting things to goals part of this, which will, hey Charlie, which will happen in December when we start working on our goals, which by the way, the dates are coming soon for the workshops for you to save the dates, mark them in your calendar. I've had a lot of messages about that behind the scenes. So, hey kitty. You don't need to worry about, like I just said, converting it into a goal or an action step right now. You just getting them out of your head is what I want you to do. And I want you to be thinking about it, like keeping these ideas at the forefront of your mind on a regular basis. So you're going throughout your day and something really awesome makes you smile or makes you happy. And it's, again, a regular thing, a everyday, not like a one-time exciting moment. I want you to notice that and potentially write it down, right? That's what you could use the brainstorming page for, is answering these questions. In fact, if you really want to keep these at the forefront of your mind, like write them at the top of this page. Like how these can, keeping them at the forefront of your mind. Okay, number 2, what is the most frustrating part of my day? I do like to talk about happy and rainbows and sunshine. But I also want you to focus on eliminating the frustrations and the kinks and the wrinkles and the things that make your day hard, the things that make you go, ugh, the things that make you like cringe. What are the things that you go about your day and you're like, that added to my frustration, that added to my stress, that added to my anxiousness, that added to my unhappiness, frankly. Like, and again, we're not talking like giant boulder sized things. I'm talking like the location of the litter box. I'm talking which like there's not a good spot for it. Okay. That's just the conclusion that I've come to in this house. I had another example and then now I forgot what it was. But just the little things. And again, you don't need to worry about converting them to goals yet. And if you look at that frustration, you're like, I have no idea. Hiding back there behind the plants. Can you not eat my plant, please? Thanks. Don't worry about converting them to goals. Charlie's eating the plant. Worry about getting them out of your head, having those be idea sparkers, putting them down on paper so that when it comes time to work on our goals, to set goals for 2025, you aren't just distracted by the big shiny goals. You can think about these little tiny frustrations that happen on your day-to-day basis and find a way to convert them. And if you need help, like I'm here to help you convert those little frustrations into ways to, into goals, so they won't be frustrating for you. Sorry, I'm distracted by Charlie and the plant. Okay, question number 3. At the end of the day, ask yourself, if I could have done one thing differently today, what would it have been? Just one. Not like, can I blow up the whole day? Not can I, change my entire life? But like, if I could have switched one little thing, what would that have been? What would it be that one little thing that I want to change? One thing that I wish had gone differently. And I should add to this question, this is you are in control. Not, I wish that person at work hadn't been such a jerk, or I wish Charlie hadn't eaten the plant. Not in our control. I mean, maybe like Charlie eating the plant, like I could control that to some extent by like not letting her in here. But when you answer all of these questions, happiness, frustration, one thing you would change, you're in control. Something that you could adjust to make it different. Now, again, kind of goes with the like transitioning it to goals. If you're not quite sure, you're like, well, I might be able to do something like Charlie and the plant that I could do it, but it's not directly associated with me. Write it down. Get the idea out of your head. But I don't want you to write like, I wish there was less traffic. But like, if that was the one thing you wish had been done different, or the most frustrating part of your day, how could you avoid the traffic? Could you leave earlier? Could you take public transit so you could do something instead of sitting in the car? Could you make the most of being in the traffic? Like, let's brainstorm what you could change in order to make that not a thing. Yes, the traffic existing is not in your control. You can't just like magic wand the traffic out of the way, but you could change something where you don't have to deal with the traffic, right? So that is it. Those are my questions that I would like you to keep at the forefront of your mind as you continue to brainstorm and think about what you might want to focus on next year. We are not worrying about concrete goals or action steps today, or even tomorrow, or even next month. We are just getting ideas out of our head so that when the time comes for us to pick our focuses for next year, we are picking things that will actually make our day-to-day lives better and happier, and not things that like, well, this is probably the year I should like buy a house. This is probably the year I should like, whatever. Like those things are great, and those are great goals, and they can be very helpful. But most of our day is made up of these.